Good evening on my Facebook, social media, YouTube, family and friends. Happy gobble gobble. Happy Turkey Day. Yeah, I'm getting back at y'all. I'm back. I had to come in the car because there's a lot of family, a lot of things going on in the house. So I had to take the time to step out to reflect, give your people something to reflect on. And why Thanksgiving, even though it's a pagan holiday, but this is something that's been going on for years as a tradition with people coming together and they celebrating. Celebrating for the wrong reasons, but just family together is the right reason, you know? So, like, it should be good vibes, good energy, you know? And I seen the video today. I wish I had the clipping of the video where Jim Jones is handing out turkeys, but he got an attitude and he's not doing it out of sincerity, the love from his heart, to see the people happy, to make the people happy. He like, here, take this, yo, get out of here. Yo, are you gonna get jumped? Like, come on, where the love at, you know? You mad because you giving out turkeys to the people that's in need. And the sad part about it is you didn't even pay for the turkeys. And there's a lot of that going on around here where people is working with these organizations, these nonprofit organizations. They giving out food, these food pantries, they giving out the food, but they're not doing it out of love, out of sincerity, for the sake of our people, for the sake of God, the sake of Allah, whoever you follow. And it's sad. If that's the case, you know, Jim Jones could have stayed home. Then you come out there looking all rugged. You're supposed to come out there happy, smiling. And this is something to be joyful. People is getting turkeys. You giving out turkeys to people so they could cook and eat and be around family, be around loved ones. You just like took all away the love, the joy, the happiness, and the holiday spirit when you have an attitude. Don't bring that negativity around. He could have kept that home. You know, if you ain't want to be there, he act like he was on community service or something. He had to give out the turkeys and didn't want to be there. If you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, you could have stayed in bed. You ain't had to come out for that. But we ain't gonna continue on Jim Jones because there's a lot of stuff going on with him, and he's just trying to put a bad taste in not just my mouth, but I know he's putting a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. It's sad, you know. But we gonna move on, and I want to reflect on like some of the back in the day sitcoms that we used to watch, and they used to always have jewels in them. But as a young man, a young child, we might not have caught the jewels. We might not have realized it, but it was even a jewel in a lot of the names from these sitcoms that we used to watch. But it was always something good. And if you go to these different networks, TV networks, and start punching up some of these old sitcoms, like we could talk about, what's a good one? The Facts of Life. They used to always drop jewels in The Facts of Life. Kim Fields was the only black child on there, but if you go back and you watch it, it was always a jewel being told by the teacher. Different strokes, the same thing. You know, you had Arnold and Willis. They was adopted by a Caucasian man and grew up with the white people, with the Caucasians, whatever the case may be, and it was always a jewel in that, you know. You have Good Times. And even though they was living in the projects and they was going through poverty, they always came together as a family, always stuck together, always had a jewel. It was always something dropped. You know, The Cosby Show, everybody family wanted to be like the Cosbys. The father's a doctor, and the mother's a lawyer. She was sharp. They had the big old house. They lived in the city. That was something that motivated our people to do right. And if you go back to some of the episodes and you just look at them, I guarantee you now as an adult, you will catch the message. You will catch the jewel. You know, family matters. Just the name, family matters. Family do matters, you know. Even though Urkel and Laura, you know, Urkel loved Laura. But with Eddie Winslow, he was always going through something, and the father was always there. That father figure was always in his life, even though he was a cop, but he always had time, except for one episode when the police was harassing Eddie, and he didn't believe Eddie. But it was always a joy. He went up and he stuck up for his son. It's all about family. So this is a time, Thanksgiving, the holidays, to reflect on family. Because that's all we got is family. Sometimes family might not feel like family, but they family. Give them a chance. Understand. Reflect. Drop a jewel. You know, where would you be without family? Even though you might have the word family, but it was something, when you reflect, it was something good coming out of your family. Even if you went through bad times and hardship, that was done by the grace of Allah. He put you through that to make you a better person, to build up your character. You had to go through some struggles to become the person you are today. The adult, the grown-up. So don't look at everything bad. Take the good out the bad. That's what we need to do as a people. Take the good out the bad. And another thing I want to talk about is health. Health is wealth. I did a little video about that in the past, but health is wealth, right? I know it's Thanksgiving. People's going to eat like savages, like Slavs. They're going to be glutton and they're going to be eating all this sweets, all this stuff that's unhealthy for us. For the most part. It tastes good. We indulge and we regret it later. Like, damn, I should never ate that much. But at the same time, we got to be mindful of our health. I got a friend, right? We go back to the 90s. And I just reached out to him this morning. Yo, how you doing? His name is Chewy. We call him Chew. Sometimes in the penitentiary, we call him Yum Yum. But good dude, loving dude, family man. He got jammed up. He did his time. He came home. He changed his life. He changed his life, but he didn't change his diet. And right now, it's costing him. It's costing him bad. He a diabetic, and not too long ago, last time I talked to him, he was talking about they had to cut off a couple of his toes. I'm like, damn, you got to do better, man. Come on. And he thought it was sweet, and he chilled out for a little while, and he started indulging back and eating all the crazy stuff, drinking, not working out, and just taking it day by day like, yo, all right, I'm living, I'm out here, I'm eating, I'm working, I'm doing what I got to do. Well, he's not working no more, but he's just living, not being mindful of how these diseases affect us as a black person. Like, I had diabetes in the penitentiary, and once I was aware of that, within 90 days, after they tested me and they said I was a diabetic or borderline diabetic, I worked out, I started eating right. It wasn't the best, but I worked out and I ate. I worked out crazy. I was in the penitentiary. I worked out twice a day. But my eating, I had to change my whole eating habits. I mean, I was eating wheat bran just about every day, drinking beet juice, being mindful of my intake. And then next thing I know, I went back to the doctor. They said, how you do that? You know, that medication must really work. I lied to him and said, yeah, that medication, yeah, it worked, it did its thing. But that medication ain't do nothing for me because I never took it. You can reverse your situation. Now, getting back to my friend. Now, he gives me the bad news today talking about they're going to cut part of his leg off. You know, he just had heart congestion failure. He's going through all these medical situations, and it's like, damn, like, how you let it get that bad? You know? Not being mindful, not taking care of yourself. Alcohol is another factor of running your sugar up, not being healthy. And it X's out the medication half the time. You got to be careful. You're taking certain medications, you out there drinking. You know, and it's side effects when you start taking that medication. You know, it comes with, oh, you have diarrhea or have headaches or have this or have that. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But it always comes with some type of complications. So if you go all natural, I be on my Dr. Savvy stuff. You know, I take my vitamins, my sea moss, my black seed oil, my turmeric, because, you know, I'm getting old. My bones be kind of hurting. Turmeric is good for that. my beetroot for my blood, you know. But sometimes, well, a lot of times, I indulge in candy. I love sweets. I just get a sweet tooth, and I know that's not good. But after today, after talking to my man, they told me about they cutting off his leg. He went from getting one toe cut off to 2 toes to now his leg. Come on. I talked to him. I feel for him. Heart congestion failure, and that's something that's common now for us black people, because I got a co-worker, and she just went through it. Heart congestion failure. My man, he's locked up right now. I feel sorry for him. I feel bad for him, but he's going through heart problems. We have to be mindful of our intake and what we eat. We got to be mindful of our health. And like, I'm getting old. The people around me that I know is getting old. I'm no more a YN. I'm more of an OG, old head, or on. I'm older. I'm not getting young. I'm not getting no younger. So I got to be mindful. I don't heal. My body don't fight off diseases like they used to. The older you get, the weaker your immune system get. So we got to be focused, be mindful of our intake. And don't just do it for yourself, which is the reason to do it, but you got to be mindful of the family, the children, the grandchildren, the nephews, the nieces that you leaving behind because you didn't want to eat right. You know, you don't want them to be at Thanksgiving like, damn, last Thanksgiving, Uncle was here or such and such, now he's gone, he passed away, and you're reflecting on what happened over the year. Nah, man, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be the one that they talking about. You do not want to be that person. You want to be happy. This is a good time. This family time. Live as long as you could. Fight. Be mindful. Take care of yourself. That's the key. Take care of yourself. And the next thing, the drinking. Please don't be out there drinking and driving, because now you affect other people's family. The person did everything that they were supposed to do, and here it is, you drinking and driving, and you crash, and you do some cause an accident, and you mess somebody else's family up. I can't say you kill somebody, because if you drinking and driving, you kill somebody, it was their time to go. That's by the color of Allah, the will of Allah. That was his plan. But we're not going to get into that. Be mindful. Enjoy yourself. Don't overindulge. Think about family principles. Family matters. Family matters. You know? Different strokes for different folks. You know? Think about all that. Go check out some of the old sitcoms, The Facts of Life, and see what jewels that you could take out of it. The Cosby Show. I like The Cosby Show because the mother was mad smart. She was mad on toast. So when the daughters, the A-White, try to kick that slick stuff, she just be looking at them like, yeah, like she ain't heard this before. And that's like what I go through now. When these young YNs or these teenagers or whatever, they come at me, they trying to talk to me, they trying to run game on me. I tell them in the heartbeat, yo, I done seen that movie. I done read that book before. Been there, done that. You can't run that game on me. Or sometimes I just don't say nothing. I just looking like, yo, they really think I'm a fool, I'm an idiot, I don't see this. Like, what's on my forehead? I got some crazy written on my forehead, you know? But I reflect also when I used to do that and how the OGs and everybody used to give me a pass. Now I'm doing the same thing. I'm getting closer out the door than I am in the door. Because now I look at some of them OGs, they not around. And they was giving me the game. And they was telling me stuff. They was looking, I thought I was getting over. Now I'm in their shoes. Now I'm saying I got to make the best of this. I wasted too much time. You could get money all day. But guess what you can't get back? You can't get back that time. So me, I lost 20 plus years of my life in the penitentiary. But I don't look at that as a bad aspect. I don't look at that as something being bad. I'm taking the good out that. And that's why I'm trying to school the youth, my children, my grandchildren, the people out there, whoever listen. I hope they get some out this. And remember, family's first, but health is really first. Live and let live. Enjoy your holidays. Peace and blessings. Enjoy your holidays.